Okay, everybody. So this week, Alabama has Kent State on deck. I don't believe in overlooking any opponent, so I'm going to try to give, um, a good kind of preview for the matchup. There's not a lot of information out there about Kent State, and so I kind of have to just kind of go with what I can find. They're not a big program, but they are a Division I school, and they're in the Mid American Conference, the MAC. Um, and just so you won't underestimate them, like Nick Saban pointed out earlier this week, Central Michigan is from the MAC conference, and they beat Oklahoma State. Upset match. So these teams, they have Division I talent. They may not be as talented, of course, as schools like Alabama, of course, but they are not Division II. They are still Division I, and they come to play just like any other guy. So, and of course, this is also a special meeting because this is Nick Saban's alma mater. Um, and so this just be fun, the little story background information that you can know. So starting with Alabama, you know the deals with them from what I've already described, but it'll be interesting this week to see if a lot of guys, a lot of those freshmen, like Nick Saban said, this year probably the most freshmen that ever played under him. And I want to see a lot of those guys get on the field so that we can see them develop depth. When Minka Fitzpatrick went down in the Ole Miss game, Shaheem Carter, freshman defensive back, came in to play the slot position, and he did fairly well. I mean, I saw him complete some passes on him, but for the most part, he didn't look like a fish out of water, which is great. What I noticed on the defensive line, though, Dakota Ball comes in when all our normal names that you know rotate out. Uh, Johnny Dwight still hasn't played yet this year. They're still waiting on ruling about him. Raekwon Davis, I think, got a little bit of playing time in the last game. Big freshman defensive tackle. So we're trying to get quality depth behind guys that we do have starting. So it'll be interesting to see who on the defensive line plays. Also at linebacker, Reuben Foster came back in the last game on that last series, but it'll be interesting to see if they limit him at all this week. The only guy who they think had the most impactful injury was Ardarius Stewart, the wide receiver, and he'll sit out this game. Uh, Robert Foster apparently is also dealing with the injury, which may explain why his production has been down, and so they're not sure. But Cam Sims, look out for him, who's been great since he first got to Alabama's campus, but he has been dealing with the injury bug. We can't just seem to escape that. 6'5", 200-pound guy. Look for him to have to take advantage of his moment to get a lot of snaps. So it'll be interesting to see if Jalen Hurts takes advantage of his big frame and we can get some passes completed down the field or in the red zone with some jump balls. Also, I'm interested to see if they're going to play Trevon Diggs. Yeah, Trayvon Diggs, I'm interested to see if he will get a lot of reps. Uh, Nick Saban was talking about using him a bit more in the offense, and because we were lacking depth in secondary, so they had him playing both ways. So it's a lot of things that we're trying to see depth-wise for Alabama. We're trying to see if Bo Scarborough can maybe get on track, and we'll see DJ Emmons and Joshua Jacobs get some more carries. So it'll be interesting to watch. With Kent State, I had to look them up. They actually have some pretty interesting things going on. They have a guy who leads he's second in the nation with tackles per game. Nate Holly, who's a safety, watch out for him. 15.7 tackles per game, and his 9 solo tackles per game leads the nation. So they actually have a pretty good defensive player. They also have another pretty good defensive player, the defensive end, Terrence Woe, who ranked second in the nation in sacks, eighth in tackles for loss, and 11th in solo tackles. Uh, they have a redshirt freshman quarterback, Malik Mitchell, who is trying to develop his game. So going against the Alabama defense, I'm not sure how much he'll be able to produce. Not much at all, I'm assuming. Uh, I don't think Kent State is anywhere near winning this game. But it'll just be interesting to see how Alabama plays and if we see a lot of these young faces who are going to be needed down the line of the season when we're needing to shuffle guys in and out of the lineup either because of injury or because of fatigue. So let me know.